Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Sharief, Ishaq will be along in 30 minutes talking New Orleans Saints. Saints making the pro day rounds. There's a little pro day action in New Orleans today for the folks for Tulane and some of the surrounding schools that had some folks make the drive in to Uptown. So we'll talk to Sharief about New Orleans and how things are looking from that perspective. And we'll talk some LSU football as well coming up in 15 minutes. But now let's do some LSU baseball. I have not touched on LSU baseball at all today and want to get into a little bit of that. LSU and Louisiana Tech this evening from the box, a 6:30 first pitch. You can listen to it on Eagle 98.1. You know, last week after Jay Johnson and the Tigers beat Grambling State, the head coach called it a must-win game. And I was reading between some leaves there and saying that's a must-win game because he doesn't think he's got a team that's going to go 20-10 in SEC play. May not go 19-11 in SEC play. If you're thinking you're closer to a 15-15, 14-16 team, if you think you're closer to a 16-14, maybe a 17-13 team, you're going to need to stop dropping these games, and you certainly can't drop one to a team that's RPI is 267 right now. Now, I'm not big on looking at RPIs in March, but you know what Grambling's RPI is going to be. It's going to be bad. So you can't lose that game, right? LSU's got 4 quad 4 losses right now. Again, none of that really matters today, but you realize where we're going. It probably does. And if you've got an SEC team that wins 7 of 10 weekends and wins 19 or 20 games, you can drop some games in quad 4 and you'll be fine. But if you're 16-14, well, all of a sudden things shift a little bit. If you're thinking about hosting and you're 17-13, you need your metrics to look better than what LSU's are projecting to right now, so you can't lose to Grambling. Tech's not like Grambling. Tech is a team that's got a better RPI than that. There's 15-10 on the season. They have had some issues in the midweek. Tech lost to McNeese in a shutout fashion. They lost to Lamar in shutout fashion. Arkansas State swept a 2-game midweek series from them. Tech's lone midweek wins are Northwestern State and Central Arkansas. So I don't know that this is a great Tech team. They played Southern Miss in Ruston and got smoked pretty good in a 3-game sweep. So this is a game that LSU needs to come out there and win. I'll briefly tell you a little bit about Louisiana Tech, and it's more important than we get into the LSU stuff, which I'll do here. But Tech's got two good bats. They got Trey Halsey, who's a left-handed hitter, and Colby Lunsford, who's a right-handed hitter. Halsey hits .320. That leads the team. He's got 9 home runs. That leads the team. 3 times this year he has hit 2 home runs in a game. His OPS is over 1,000. Halsey is a good hitter. Lunsford is right-handed. He's got 8 homers. He's got a team-best 9 doubles. He leads the team in on-base percentage. Those are the 2 impact bats for Louisiana Tech tonight. That's the end of my discussion on Louisiana Tech. This is about LSU. You got to play better. And I was kicking around some lineup thoughts this morning when I wrote the preview at LouisianaSports.net. And it's very evident that Omar Cerna is going to play tonight. He might catch, he might play first, he might DH, but he's going to play. I think John Pearson's going to play too, and I think he'll probably play third base. He could DH, but I think he'll probably play third base. Stephen Milam's in the lineup. Chris Stanfield's in the lineup. Derek Curiel's in the lineup. Jake Brown's in the lineup. That's your shortstop and your 3 outfielders. So between Cerna, Pearson, Milam, Stanfield, Curiel, and Brown, that's 6 starters. I've got 3 more spots to deal with. I've got second base. I've got first base. I've got DH, basically. And here's what I would do. I realize this is not going to be popular. Here's what I would do. I would play Zach York at first base or DH tonight. Zach York has crushed lower level arms for 3 years at Grand Canyon. This season in the midweek, he's 3 for 5 with a homer against Kent State on a Monday, 2 for 4 against Creighton. He was 1 for 1 against Grambling. He homered against McNeese. I'm not completely giving up on Zach York as an SEC hitter. I think that's the popular thing to do because we always just want to make the most visceral reaction we possibly can. But I'm telling you that he can hit lower level pitching. He did it at Grand Canyon. He's done it this year. Yep, he struck out 4 times on Friday. 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. That's against L.J. Mercurius and Oklahoma, one of the best pitchers in the SEC and SEC staff. It's different than tonight against Tech. Tech's midweek arms are getting beat by Lamar and McNeese in Central Arkansas or Arkansas State. So I would start Zach York because I think there's still a chance he's going to help this team. I do. I know y'all don't. Most of you don't, but I do. So I would play him in one of the other spots. That leaves me 2. I would catch Cade Arambidi. He's 0 for 7 on this past weekend. That looks bad. But he did draw 4 walks over the weekend, and against Vanderbilt, he got 5 hits. So I'm starting Arambidi and York in 2 of those spots. That's 8. And basically, I'm leaving second base open here. Trent Carraway's the best defender. You want to put him out there? I get it. He's hitting 254. Seth Dardar is hitting 34 points below that. Tanner Reeves is hitting 216. Jack Ruckert's made 3 errors and hasn't shown himself to be a quality offensive option. Now, Braden Simpson has also made errors defensively. He made an error in left field. He has not been a very good defender at second. I get it. But you need to score some runs. And you didn't over the weekend. And Braden Simpson last year at High Point hit 389 with 22 homers. And this year, in a small sample size, he's 7 for 24. That's a 292 average. I'm not 100% certain why he's been slammed out of the lineup. I'm not suggesting Braden Simpson's going to be a first-team All-SEC player, but I don't think that Louisiana Tech's midweek pitching is a lot different than what High Point saw last year when he almost hit 400 with 22 homers. I didn't see Simpson hit a lot in the fall. He's not been a power threat for this team. Hadn't hit a homer. But, you're giving Ruckert a look. You're talking about moving William Patrick to the infield, who has been an outfielder for you since he showed up. It feels to me like Braden Simpson can get a shot. Now, if you want to only do that against left-handed pitching because he's right-handed, I understand that. I haven't completely closed the door on Dardar. But it's interesting to me that Simpson had such a good year last year, is thought of as a pretty good talent, and is hitting 292 in a limited sample size this year, and he hasn't gotten a chance. I would give him a chance to play against Tech. Now, I realize that I've left Mason Braun out of this equation, and I think it would be foolish to leave him in the dark too. What's going to happen is that multiple guys are going to play second, probably multiple guys are going to handle DH, and you're probably going to have somebody moving around at third and first. They're going to play a bunch of guys in those 2 spots tonight because that's just what Jay Johnson has done a ton of. Trying to find lightning in a bottle, and you think you found it a little bit with Cerna, you think you found it a little bit with Pearson. There have been guys that have stepped into the lineup and given you something. But I would potentially give Braden Simpson a shot here. We'll see. And then you got pitching, which is a question mark entering this game. Gavin Guidry threw 70 pitches on Saturday. He's had Sunday and Monday of rest. He's not pitching tonight. I'd be really surprised if Gavin Guidry pitched tonight. He's coming off a back injury. He threw 70 pitches on Saturday. I think he's down. Now, Devin Sheeran threw 40 on Saturday, and he's probably available for an inning if you need him to close the game. But you're going to need some other guys to step up. Zach Cowan is probably going to be involved in that. Jaden Newt is probably going to be involved in that. You've used a lot of Reagan Ricken in these spots. Santiago Garcia and Ethan Plog are going to be guys that they're going to get innings to. Marcos Paz has had a couple of really encouraging outings recently. You'd like to get him out there. This is going to be another 7 or 8 pitcher day. I don't think Guidry's involved, and I think you do need to get, if you need to use Sheeran, you can. If you can win the game without him, I would strongly advise that as well. LSU hadn't really had that midweek game in a while where they went out and hit a homer in the first inning and they got up 8-0 through 4 and they just cruised to an 11-1 run rule. They haven't done that. They did a lot last year when they were a better team last year. And Tech's not one of the worst teams going to come into the box by any stretch. But you'd like one of those to happen. I kind of called for one that looked good on Thursday, and they delivered that. No, they didn't on Friday and Saturday. But if they can play a solid game tonight, that would go a long way. It's a week that's low stress in terms of the amount of innings that you're playing because you got to stop playing on Saturday afternoon of this past weekend. You had Sunday off. You had Monday off. You'll play Tuesday, and then you get Wednesday and Thursday off. So only one game in those 5 days, which, considering the schedule this team has played the first 6 weeks of the season, that's an infrequent dose of baseball. They should be high energy. They should be focused, and they should come out and play a good game tonight. But we've seen it a lot of times. We've seen a lot of free bases, a lot of walks, and all that's very, very possible. I just want to see them play a clean one, and they should be able to handle their business against Louisiana Tech. Again, first pitch at 6:30. From the box, want to listen, you can catch the voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair, on Eagle 98.1, our sister station, at 6 o'clock for pregame. First pitch at 6:30 between LSU and Tech. Reminder, we'd love to see you tonight at Sports Trivia over at Court to Table. Always a good time. They put the game on for us at 8 o'clock when we start up, so you can watch some LSU baseball. You can win gift cards. You can eat some of their delicious food over at Court to Table. They got great drinks as well, so it's always a fun time. You can come by yourself, bring a whole team. We have fun at Court to Table on Tuesdays for Sports Trivia. 8 o'clock is when things start up. We'll have you out of there by about 9:15 on this Tuesday evening, so hope to see you at Court to Table. We'll chat with Sharief Ishaq in 15 minutes. Come back with more. It's a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, lifetimeroofingla.com, lifetimeroofingla.com. Lifetime Roofing is Baton Rouge-based roofing company that services the entire state of Louisiana, plus over into Texas in the Houston area. Their core values are this: customer service, quality, and integrity. At Lifetime Roofing, they take a ton of pride in setting themselves apart from a lot of their competitors by being involved in the community, doing multiple roof giveaways for BCA awareness, military giveaways. Every single year they do that to those in need. They care about this community, and they know that oftentimes when they are called into action to help somebody with a roof, that something may have gone wrong. There may have been a bad storm, may have been a tree that has fallen on the house, maybe a significant leak, and that's just not a great time. And it's always jarring. But if you have a roofer that you trust, that's from the state of Louisiana, that you can feel is going to treat you professionally and is going to get you exactly what it is that you need, just gives you that peace of mind. So go with the local roofing company that has a lifetime workmanship warranty that includes materials backed by CertainTeed, one of the oldest and most trusted names in building materials. It's Lifetime Roofing. Also a reminder, they do gutters, they do siding, they do windows as well. So if you're looking for a roof, Lifetime Roofing. Looking for gutters, siding, windows, Lifetime Roofing. Find them online at lifetimeroofingla.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday show is brought to you by Immense. Immense.net is the website, immense.net. So here for your cloud IT management. There, I got experts over there at Immense and QuickBooks and Salesforce, other CRMs as well that can certainly help you with that. You're not talking about any contracts with Immense. You're not talking about break and fix work. You're talking about a relationship, a consulting company for you on the IT side. Immense has been at this for 20 years, and they can be your partner as you move to grow your business. And if you need to use technology to do that, that's what Immense is here to do. If you've got one IT person, one IT man, one IT woman, and that person's just completely overworked, let Immense help. They're here 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and can provide some customized solutions for your business. A lot of times people don't know things are broken from an IT perspective. You don't know what's going on. Immense monitors your systems at all times proactively to make sure that you're taken care of. So if you are not thrilled with your current IT situation and you're a business that needs IT to run, let Immense come in and help you with that. Check them out online at immense.net, immense.net. All right, let's talk about a little LSU football here. Lane Kiffin met with the media today after LSU's first spring football practice. Tigers were basically in helmets. Some guys had shoulder pads on as well, but no tackling, nothing significant from a physicality perspective. It doesn't mean that LSU's not going to be physical, just not necessarily all the time in practice. And Lane Kiffin got a question today about how physical he wants to be in spring, in fall camp, being that the rules are a little bit different than when he broke into coaching. We all know that. So what's the level of physicality he's looking for?
Nowadays, you invest so much money in the players' positions like the NFL, and then your rosters aren't as deep. And the dynasties that you saw for a while, I don't believe are going to take place as far as the dominant dynasty teams, because you can't make a roster that deep. They won't stay. I think in that, we probably don't practice as much as we used to. I don't, because of that, and understanding the depth issues and concerns. And I look at it more like, okay, hey, we appear to be early that we're going to have really good frontline guys on our roster, and we're going to have some depth issues. All programs probably feel that way nowadays. So I think you just got to be really careful with how much you do, and you can't do the old school way. As much as I'd like to from a toughness standpoint, you got to be somewhere in the middle.
LSU's got to be tougher than they were last year offensively. You got to run the football. You got to be able to hit somebody up front and move some people out of the way, and LSU just hasn't done it. Now, Lane Kiffin has done it wherever he's been. They have run the football. You may think it's finesse stuff because they're going fast and because they're running out of the shotgun, and but they will run the football one way or another. And a guy that's been a big part of that is Kevin Smith, the running back coach who he has brought in. Smith was with him at FAU and certainly with him at Ole Miss, and they've had some pretty good running backs. He spoke to the impact that Kevin Smith's going to have on this running game.
I love his story of being such a great player. I think he's the all-time rushing leader in the state of Florida from college. Then kind of had his NFL career that was okay, and then, went through some things. And so I love his kind of comeback story with that and how he now has turned everything into his kids, like investing in the players and helping them. And since we gave him really his first full-time job at FAU, and then we had Devin Singletary that led the country in rushing and touchdowns there, and then, to have Quinshawn and then the previous running back last year. So he's done a really great job with guys, and he's easy to recruit to because of that, and he's very intense out there.
That previous running back was Kewan Lacey. He was pretty good. I had a pretty good year for Ole Miss this past year, and Kevin Smith was integral in recruiting him out of the transfer portal to Ole Miss, and then obviously the development that went on there. And so you look at what LSU has in terms of personnel, and you welcome two backs back to the fold from last year in Caden Durham and then, of course, Harlem Berry. And so the question, obviously, is do you have enough talent to recreate some of the things you did at Ole Miss with Quinshawn Judkins and Kewan and Lacey, who were phenomenal talents with these two guys? And specifically, the question was about Harlem Berry being similar to Lacey, and this is what Lane Kiffin said.
Well, I don't know about that. Again, that's really outcome-based, and that was a tremendous season and a record-breaking season. I think he broke most of the records that Deuce had. So I don't know that. That's a long ways to go. We've had one day out there. We don't even have pads on yet. And you don't know, you're not going to get – it depends on the room. We've had times where we've had three, that kind of equal out in their playing time. We've had times where we've had one and then a drop-off to two. And so – when there's a drop-off from 1 to 2, a really big drop, now that workload increases and you're able to have giant seasons like that.
And I don't see a big drop-off from Harlem Berry to Caden Durham or vice versa. I think that both of those guys have their strengths. I think when healthy, Caden Durham's a really good player. And I'll be really honest. I don't think that I am sunshine pumping here. I don't think that I am looking through purple and gold glasses or being unreasonable. I believe that LSU's lack of a running game last year had very, very, very little to do with the talent at running back. I believe that the scheme was poor. I believe the commitment to running the running game was awful. I believe their execution in the running game was non-existent, and I just don't think that was the running back's fault. I think that was the offensive line, the talent evaluation, the development at the offensive line, and then the fact that they just never really wanted to run the ball. It didn't work. And I don't think that was Harlem Berry's fault or Caden Durham's fault. So I'm hopeful that in this scheme that they're able to enjoy a lot more success than they had last year. And part of that scheme is the tempo, is the pace. Now, this answer is not all about the running game. It's just kind of about the pace as a whole and what it means for practice and what it means for his offense. But I think it all ties into the running game as well. Lane Kiffin talked about his tempo.
There's a whole system to this, and I really got exposed to it, when we hired Kendall Browse at FAU and the Baylor system of how spread it is and the tempo and the receivers playing right and left, and there's a lot of little things within that. So that takes some time too. It's almost like, I don't know basketball well, but since basketball is going on, if you went in, you're going to press all game, and you had to get players into that conditioning, like Arkansas back in the day in basketball, 40 minutes of hell. That's basically what it's like. So that's a lot of physical condition, but mental conditioning, and it all starts with this quarterback because, like I said, he's the point guard pushing everything. So there's a ton that goes into that.
And that's going to be a weapon for LSU, as we know. I mean, you've been on the other side of it. If you're an LSU fan and have watched LSU play Ole Miss the last few years, you know that when they get going quick, it can be a little bit intimidating. And certainly that's what Lane Kiffin is here to recreate. And then you start instilling that in the spring. And he mentioned the quarterback. He's talking about Sam Leavitt. And if you are just arriving to the show or catching this on YouTube in a short and haven't heard the previous segment I did at the top of the show, Sam Leavitt's out there and he is participating. He's not participating fully, and I don't expect that he will participate fully in spring football, but he's not sitting off to the side. He is working on his handoffs. He is throwing the football to route trees. He is moving drill to drill. He's in a helmet. He's in his jersey. He just can't run. And so when they move drill to drill, he jogs a little bit gingerly. He's walking a little bit gingerly, but he's healthy enough to be out there and kind of get a sense of what they're trying to do. I'm curious if his workload increases over the course of the next 3 weeks or if this is just kind of what he is right now until things improve. But he is able to get out there and get a feel for what they're trying to do. And Lane Kiffin was very open after the transfer portal class had been signed when he met with the media following that about we want to have the quarterback in charge of this offense and making sure that it's running efficiently and doing the things that we need it to do. And he's the one who has to do it, as he used the term there, the point guard. And so you want as much practice time as you can get for Sam Leavitt, but you don't want to push it. And so there's a medium there that they're working on. We saw it out there today, and part of that is going to be absolutely in the running game. And I have a decent feeling about the running game on this team. I need to see the offensive line a little bit, and I don't know if we'll get to see enough in fall camp to draw some conclusions. Like, I really, after last fall camp, got a sense for what I was watching with Brian Kelly's program. You're programmed to think very positively in August. It is what it is, and I don't think that's a bad thing. But when you see some significantly negative things that continue to show up, instead of always leaning on that one aspect that's making it look bad, being really good, sometimes that aspect is bad. And we saw that with the defense 3 years ago, and we saw that with the offensive line this past year. Like, they looked bad in camp the majority of the time, and then you got to the season, and it looked bad. And so I want to see this offensive line move some people out of the way in the fall. Maybe we'll get to see it some in the spring. But that running game has got to be it's got to be paramount in what they're trying to do offensively. And I think Kiffin's proven he can do it. Kevin Smith has proven he can do it. And the two guys they've got to carry the lion's share of the workload, I think, are capable of being a top 6 running team in the SEC. Doesn't mean that I'm saying they will be that. It means that I think they have the talent to do that. Up front, in the backfield, with the coach and the play caller, all of that, if you mix all those ingredients together to make that gumbo, I think it's one that can run the football a little bit. So that's what I'm hopeful for, at least. That's Lane Kiffin talking about the running game. He met with the media for about 20 minutes earlier today, and you'll certainly hear more about that from Matt's show later on. We're going to transition back to the New Orleans Saints. I talked about Mansour Delane and where he fit with the New Orleans Saints in the first hour. If you missed that, you can catch it at Hunt on Saints. But I'll have some conversations with Sharief Ishaq about the pro days that are going on and what the Saints are looking for currently. We'll do that when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Man, hurricane season's always around the corner, isn't it? We've had some quiet ones, and I like that. But we all know that they're not here forever. There will be activity at some point. Give yourself the peace of mind to know that if you decide to ride out a hurricane, you've got that Boudreaux's Electrical Generac home standby generator to keep your power on. If you evacuate for a hurricane and you do lose power in your neighborhood, you don't want to come back to a 96-degree house. We have all done that. It's not fun. Make sure that generator's up and running. Your AC's working. Your television's working. Your refrigerator and freezer are working. Good as new. That's what Boudreaux's Electrical can do for you. You can buy that home standby generator from the big box stores. You can. You're not going to get the customer service that you get from Boudreaux's Electrical. Installation by a full-time Boudreaux's employee. Monitoring it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Maintenance, repair, whatever you need from Boudreaux's Electrical with your generator, they can do that for you. If you get it from the big box stores, you're going to get that customer service. Neil and Melissa have been at this for 40 years. They own and operate the company. It's not private equity that's bought in. It's a local business that knows what this part of the world goes through in hurricane season. Give them a call at 985-397-1562. That's 985-397-1562. Or the Gonzales location, 225-300-9389. That's 225-300-9389. It is Boudreaux's Electrical.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Chugging along here, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Hope your work week is off to a good start. We're brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Let's go down to the Big Easy. Sharief, Ishaq, WDSU in New Orleans, giving us a little time on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Sharief, how are you?
You know, just hanging out inside the Saints practice indoor facility. I have to hang out at LSU's practice indoor facility all these pro days. So I'm fine, I guess.
What was the pro day situation today? Tulane and maybe some guys from the FCS around. Like who was working out?
Yeah, Tulane, and then we had Southern, Grambling, McNeese, Southeastern, Nichols. So pretty much the rest of the schools in the state of Louisiana did not hold a pro day at their own school.
Gotcha. All right, cool. I want to talk about some thoughts on that Mansour Delane. Well, let's just go there now. I want to get to Chris Olave's potential contract negotiations. We'll get to that in a second. But Mansour Delane ran a great time. How do you feel about the Saints looking that way in the first round at number 8 and addressing a need after you've lost a couple of big-name cornerbacks over the last 3 years?
I know I brought it up with you either last week or the week before. One of the 3 names that I think they should heavily look at if he's still on the board was Mansour Delane was one of them, Caleb Downs and Carnell Tate. And I would not put it past the Saints to draft Mansour Delane. I mean, forget about what he did yesterday. Yes, that helped a little bit, but he's a very good football player. They need a lockdown cornerback. And he was a lockdown corner last year for LSU, and I think that he can provide that alongside of Kool-Aid McKinstry and Quincy Riley, who they can kick inside. So, I mean, yeah, he's fast, man, but his coverage skills are unreal, and they could definitely use that in the NFC South. So I would not put it past him. If he were on the board, and let's just say some of your other guys, your other high guys that you like are trying to draft and not on the board, and he's there. I mean, even if they're there, it's a possibility that they could take it, and you should definitely look at Mansour. He's everything that Brandon Staley would love to have on his defense.
He could be a game changer. I just did not know he had the sub 4.4 in the tank, and he certainly showed that yesterday at LSU's Pro Day. All right, let's talk about the signing of Jackson Smith and Jigba, which was obviously a big deal. He's the Offensive Player of the Year. He signs a monster contract, biggest in the history of the sport. How does that change the discussions between the Saints and Chris Olave?
I don't think it really changes it much. I mean, Jackson Smith is good, man. He's a star. I mean, he's amazing. I mean, they've led him to a Super Bowl title, not just him, but he deserves every penny of it. And Chris Olave is going to get paid, but he's just not going to get paid Jackson Smith and Jigba money. I know that, kind of like you look at each player, they went to the same college, almost the same build, almost the same type of player. Luckily for Chris, he turned it on at the right time during contract year. I mean, they still got some wiggle room. They still have that 1 year, but you probably don't want to wait much longer in terms of trying to pay him, and I'm sure he doesn't want to wait much longer to get paid. I'm still thinking 25 to 30 million a year is the range. I mean, that's just what the going rate is for your number one receiver, which he acted like this year.
That's the thing about the Saints waiting, is that the longer you wait, you let Jackson Smith and Jigba sign, you're going to see Puka Nacua sign. That's going to be absolutely monster, and these deals are going to keep getting bigger, and the Olave camp is just going to keep waiting and looking as those numbers go up and up. I was thinking closer to 25, like 3, 4, 5 months ago. Now you have to potentially be looking north of 30. Is there a threshold where you would have to stop?
I would say probably like 28 to 30 million. But you have to think the names you just said, those guys who've been playing and then been playing at a high level. I know Jackson Smith and Jigba hasn't been in the league long, but it's still he's been playing at a very good level. And, it's unfortunate Chris has dealt with some very serious concussion issues. Yeah. But those other guys played, and they got paid for playing, almost every single game. And like I said, it's not his fault because he got stung pretty bad on quite a few plays, and he missed a lot of games. But you're still probably going to have to pay him because of how he finished the season and how important he is to Tyler Shuck, and he's going to be to this offense. And I think that, he understands it. He knows the business side of it, and I think the Saints have to understand the business side of how much they have to pay him. But I would say 28 to 30 million is where I'm going to sit. Anything north of that, you're really going to be talking about Puka money and then Jackson money. So I'm not comfortable going above that.
We'll see. I think it's fascinating. It went from in September, October, I was like, no way I'm paying any attention to Chris Olave wanting some monster extension. He just hasn't proven that in any way, and the Saints are so far away. And then Tyler Shuck plays well late, and Chris Olave plays well with him, with really no help because they traded away Shaheed, and then your number 2 essentially gets hurt. So I think that there's been a drastic change in circumstance over the last 4 months, no?
Yeah, I mean, I understand that for sure, and that's where he elevated his game, and that's probably where he earned an extra $5 million, which puts me at the $30 million mark from 25 to 30 million. So, but they have to be smart about it because they're going to have to start paying a few other players here in the next year or two, and that they have to take care of. That's players who are important in terms of rebuilding this franchise. But look, Kai and Mickey, they know what they're doing, and I think that I'm sure they're weighing the options of his health too. Man, if we give this guy $30 million a year, he gets hurt one more time. It's like, oh man, we're going to be on the hook for a lot of money.
Yeah.
But we'll see how it plays out. But I think he gets his money.
Anything new with 2 guys really, with Cam Jordan obviously, and then with Alvin Kamara?
Nothing new, man. Being here at the facility, just asking about it, it's nothing new. It's sit and wait. I truly think that Cam comes back here because he's going to be out there.
Do you think the market's dried up for him? Do you think that what he wants is just not out there?
Yeah, I just don't think he's going to get the money that he wants. I think that he wants money and lots of playing time, and they look at a guy's going to be 37 in July, and they're like, well, we can offer you 4 or 5 million, 6 million, and you're going to get 20 snaps. I think he's thinking every down, and at 37. If somebody offered me $6 million and said 20 snaps, 15, 20 snaps, I'm going to be good with it. And I feel like that's where maybe the Saints are, 15 to 20 snaps a game and $6 million. So I think just my gut tells me that that's where he ends up signing and finishing his career in a black and gold uniform.
I'm curious what you think Cam's desire is. I think that obviously he would like to play with the Saints, but do you think there's any part of him that, with the money's right, would be rejuvenated by going somewhere else? Or do you think he truly just wants to create a market, leverage the Saints out of a few more extra dollars and get that? What do you think he really wants if you had to guess? You can't know, but if you had to guess.
I don't think it's money to him, Hunt, because he's made enough money. He's made a lot of money, and I think.
Well, he said it. The cents don't make sense. He's talking in dollar terms when he's on podcasts.
Yeah, of course. And he has to say that. He doesn't want to get underpaid. He doesn't want to end up on a 1-year, $4 million deal. I think he would like to I think to me it's years. I think he'd like to have 2 years, not just 1 year, $6 million. I think he'd like to have the 2 and $13, $14 million year, maybe $15 million contract. I don't think he wants to sign 1 year. I think he'd like to see them go 2 years and $15 million, so he can, because you heard him say he can play 2 to 3 more years, and that's what he feels like the Saints in 2 years are really going to be at that high level of competing. So I think we're looking at years and little extra dollars, but I think it's the years to me because I think he wants to be guaranteed.
We'll see. It's a fascinating situation with the Saints and Cam Jordan, and I don't know that we're close to resolving it. Just curious if there was anything happen with your ears to the ground in New Orleans. Anything on pro days that has stood out to you, or are you still kind of circling the same 3 or 4 guys in the draft?
I'm going to keep circling the same 3 or 4, but that's me adding Mansour to that mix now. Yeah. I feel I liked him last week and even the week before that. I just, it's hard to pass on a lockdown corner, man. You could never have enough lockdown corners. So I'm still thinking Mansour, Carnell, or Caleb Downs, to have one of the 2 Ohio State guys. But you got to provide Tyler a weapon to me. And if Carnell Tate is there and you're picking between Carnell and Mansour, I know it's a tough debate. You can find a receiver later to draft, and that's a tough pickle, man. Carnell Tate's good and Mansour is good, and it's hard to find a really good lockdown corner. So to me, I don't think I could pass on Mansour Delane.
Maybe they'll just take a right guard.
I would drive people crazy. The guy from Penn State would probably be the guy, and I don't know how to say his name. So
that's just a joke. That's not going to happen. They're not taking a guard at 8. But it's funny to think about considering the track record. Sharief, we appreciate the time. We'll talk next week.
You got it, bud. See you next week.
Sharief Ishaq, WDSU down in New Orleans, covering the black and gold. I'll tell you this. A guy, Ross Jackson, cranked out a mock draft right after the Super Bowl. It's 2 days after, maybe the next day. And then he does another one, and then there's the combine, and then you got some pro days. And so this is lingering, and LSU did his pro day yesterday, and so I started thinking about doing a Mansour Delane Saints segment, which I did today. And I thought to myself, I'm not 100% sure what what day the draft is. Let me look that up. So I looked it up today on the way into LSU's practice. It's still a month away. It's the 23rd of April. It's almost in May.
Yeah. I mean,
and it's March.
I say in the NFL's defense, because usually it falls on my birthday or like around my birthday, the end of April 29th, 28th. So the fact it's a little bit earlier this year, but still late at the same time, is just, it bothers me so much.
The longest ramp up, at least like when the season starts, we do a long ramp up in August for the season, right?
Yep.
It's a long ramp up. It takes a long time to get to that first LSU game, that first Saints game.
It does.
But then you just play and you play them and you're in the
you
season.
Don't stop.
This is like basically 3 hours on Thursday, maybe an hour and a half on Friday in the evening. And are you really locked into the 6th round? I mean, if for the Saints you are, for the Bills you're not. And so like it's a huge runway for this fever dream that takes like 4 hours.
No, most definitely.
Oh my goodness, can the NFL create some hype? They're brilliant at it. To their credit, you got to have something in every month.
You're right. Like they have found the actual formula to running the news cycle yearly.
I mean, you got playoffs in January, Super Bowl in February, free agency right there, and then you got the combine in March. You got pro days, you got the draft in April, mini camps in May. Then June is a little bit slow.
And in July they come back.
And then July they practice.
Yeah.
So like you really have June is not super busy.
And that's it.
That's about it.
And I think that's the NBA playoffs. So like the NBA playoffs are going on in June. Oh, in Omaha and all that.
No, everybody's really locked into the College World Series in June.
I'm about to say, so it's like it's you're not missing it. You're literally not missing it.
I'm not, but I hope I'm locked into the College World Series this year. It feels like
fingers crossed.
I'm not giving up. A lot of people are giving up. I'm not giving up. I got a text the other day from a buddy that was like, I guess you're not going. And I got a call from a friend today who invited me to do something in June. He's like, I mean, you're not going to Omaha. So I was like, well, maybe. I might be going to Omaha. I'm not. They're not dead yet, okay?
They're not.
I'm not giving them their last rites. We played 2 SEC weekends. We have 8 more to go. So let's see how they can do. That's how I choose to look at it. I have made the call way too early in 23 and 24, pronouncing them in trouble. In 23, their bullpen and starters after schemes were atrocious. In 24, they looked like a dead team walking. And they figured some things out both years to varying degrees. I'm not giving up just yet. Maybe that makes me an idiot. That's okay, though. I'm willing to be an idiot in this way. Let's close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC. FabryChevrolet.com. I should probably say the website right. That would make sense. FabryChevrolet.com. The entire inventory is there online. You can get Silverados for up to $11,000 off MSRP, 1.9 APR financing. You can get a GMC Sierra for up to $13,000 off MSRP, 0.0 APR financing on those. It's a great time to get into an SUV as well. Those family road trips are coming up. School's going to be out before you know it. So if you're looking for a new ride to get the whole family to the beach or wherever you may be headed, how about a Tahoe? How about a Suburban? They got them. How about a Yukon? How about a Denali? They got them over at Fabry Chevrolet GMC, and great deals to boot. Fabry family's been at it for 35 years. They've got 3 locations, 5 brands. You know them. You know them well. Their reputation is sterling for a reason. It's because they treat their customers so well. So go by and see them. Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Check out the inventory online at FabryChevrolet.com.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Failure happens to us all.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com. SwingEasyGCBR.com is the website. Don't go to the website. Go to the store. Go to Swing Easy Golf Club right there on Segan at Perkins and play some golf. If you've never played simulator golf before, it's a different experience. I think it's a ton of fun. You can play some of the most famous golf courses in the world. St. Andrews, Carnoustie, Troon. On the British Open Rota, you can play Pebble Beach or Cypress Point, Bethpage Black. You can play TPC Louisiana, where they play the Zurich. It's right there on the simulator. Bring your friends, play by yourself, drink some cold pops, work on your game on the driving range. Invite a client. Spend an evening there. The weather's not great and you were planning on playing golf, go to Swing Easy Golf Club on Segan at Perkins. I've always enjoyed my time at Swing Easy Golf Club. I got a tournament coming up on Memorial Day weekend. Going to get into the lab at Swing Easy Golf Club and hit some shots here in the coming weeks. Looking forward to that. You can do it as quickly as this afternoon on Segan at Perkins at Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. Big midweek in SEC baseball. Florida State tonight. South Carolina's playing North Carolina. Mississippi State and Southern Miss in a big matchup tonight. And, of course, LSU and Louisiana Tech. Looking for a preview of LSU and Tech, you can find it at louisianasports.net. I also talked about it at the top of hour number 2 of my show today. So go back and listen to that if you are interested. They'll play at 6:30 tonight from the box. If you want to listen to that, you can on Eagle 98.1 starting at 6 o'clock. For right now, let's play some Take It or Leave It.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so this next story, you just got to stick with me real quick. So a county sheriff's office in Maryland said Monday that a professional cornhole player who's also a quadruple amputee fatally shot a passenger in the front seat of a car as they were driving during an argument. Dayton James Weber, 27, was arrested and charged as a fugitive by the police department. Hear this out. So this is how it transpired, Hunt. So Weber pulled over after the shooting, asked the 2 passengers in the backseat to help him pull out the victim. Obviously, he has no arms or legs.
Correct.
They refused. They flagged down some police officers, whatever. He tried to flee the vehicle. Obviously, he didn't get far. They got him. So having no arms and legs and shooting people, take it or leave it?
I'm going to leave that.
Just leave it alone.
And then asking everybody to help you get away.
Help him get him out the car.
I mean, I don't know the mechanics of how you shoot somebody with no arms or legs.
I don't know at all either.
I don't know how that works. That's not great and really interesting.
Very. And again, he's a professional cornhole player.
Yeah. Also, not sure how you do that. You got to get that beanbag in the teeth and whip it across.
Doing something like that.
Maybe rest it on the arm. I don't know.
Ranked cornhole player. Now, this is all over ESPN. He was a ranked cornhole player. Actually, was featured on ESPN at one point because of quadruple amputee, and he just went crazy yesterday.
Do you think I could beat this guy in cornhole?
I don't know, man. If he's that good with no arms, he's probably like legit. Like he's probably super good at cornhole.
Sounds like we're talking about a story from The Onion, is what it sounds like. But somehow it's not.
No, this is real life. So, in lighter news, Arkansas freshman Darius Acuff Jr.
Non-cornhole murder news
with no arms and legs Darius Acuff has landed a signature shoe of Reebok, becoming the first NCAA athlete to receive a major U.S. shoe deal in college. So he's going to get his own signature shoe while he's in college. And he's also the first signature shoe athlete from Reebok since John Wall. So big deal or no big deal to still get your first signature shoe in college. Oh, big deal or no big deal. Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. Acuff deserves it, man. Everyone's on the Acuff bandwagon at this point. We've been on it for a while. I mean, when I watched, the first time I really watched him was in December. And then LSU got ready to play Arkansas early on in conference play, and I went back and looked at a lot of Arkansas when I was still really breaking those games down before LSU had lost 100 games in a row. Yeah. And I was like, oh, God, this is better than I thought. And then he went nuts against LSU in Fayetteville. LSU was competitive in that game, but he was just too much. Couldn't handle him. And he's awesome. And he's going to – I mean, there is starting to be some number 1 overall pick buzz for him. I don't think he will be the number 1 overall pick, but there's starting to be some buzz, and I understand why. He is that good.
Much deserved buzz. To me, I just think it all depends on who will get the number 1 pick. Like the teams this year is kind of.
Maybe it'll be the Pels.
Oh man, I mean.
Nope, don't have one.
Yeah, I'm about to say like that would.
They're playing
that would be great.
Though.
No, we are playing good. Look. I just would. We need that. We need Jesus. We need Jesus. Honestly.
He's coming back. Easter. He's coming back at Easter, so we're good. That's like 2 weeks. He'll be back.
Season's over. It's too late. The season's over. You can't help us at this point. Like, and now you would have came in October. Maybe we'd be talking right now.
Yeah, he's more of a born in December,
yeah,
raised in March type deal.
We missed the window.
April. Yeah.
We missed the window. We're going to get left behind. So to finish things up, Levante David has retired from the NFL after 14 seasons with the Bucs. 3-time All-Pro, Super Bowl champion. This goes to show that he was only a 3-time All-Pro, and he had over 100-some tackles every season. So one of the most underrated players of all time. Take it or leave it.
I would take it. That's That's maybe a little hyperbole there, but I think he's a Hall of Famer. I mean, 3-time All-Pro. As good as that was. Yeah, Super Bowl champion. I mean,
one jersey guy.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's good. Obviously, got a text there from Well, Michael Cobble that made me chuckle a little bit. So, yeah, that's a great career, heck of a player, and it's a new day over there in Tampa with some of the guys that are out the door. Same deal with the Saints, as you mentioned. And the Falcons are kind of turning over some new leaves as well. So,
please.
There you go. That's it for Take It or Leave It. I hope to see y'all tonight at Court at the Table for sports trivia at 8 o'clock. Well, tomorrow I got a busy show. We'll talk to Koki Riley about baseball. We'll do What If Wednesday, SEC Baseball Power Rankings, and some more sound from Lane Kiffin. Matt will drive you home from AFR next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Gotro's Outdoor Power. Huge week at Gotro's Outdoor Power. You've heard of March Madness. How about Mower Madness? It is going on right now at Gotro's Outdoor Power. 2 locations, of course, Airline Highway in Baton Rouge, Gonzales as well. Listen to these deals. 15% off of Echo products, $250 off Hustler Raptors, and listen to this one. Up to 32% off MSRP on all Hustler commercial zero-turn mowers. So if you need a new mower for this growing season, it's spring, summer's coming, we got to cut grass around here until almost Christmas. If you need a new Hustler zero-turn, up to 32% off at Mower Madness over at Gotro's Outdoor Power. It's going on all week. They're going to have an open house with food and giveaways on Friday, but if that's not good for you, get on by any day this week and check out the incredible savings. 2 locations, of course, the one on Airline Highway, lots of inventory also in Gonzales. That's Gotro's Outdoor Power.